Hey, this video, it's not gonna be a full video. Obviously, I mean, that's why I have test script on the title, because, you know, they're just supposed to be test scripts, so, you know, I can get out there, people can watch, you know, if they find something wrong with it, or if I get some information wrong, then, you know, you can correct me in the comments. I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm uploading this, and why I have test script on there. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best. If I miss any information, please correct me. Battlefield 2042 is like a midlife crisis, trying to be cool and trendy while also forgetting what made Battlefield special in the first place and what made the franchise very lovable and why a lot of people like it. I'm not the only one who feels this way, as a lot of people online, especially on Reddit and YouTube, also agree with me that Battlefield has lost its identity and doesn't feel like the older games. While Battlefield 2042 mechanically is a solid game, back at launch it was terrible. I mean, come on, everybody knows, like absolutely everybody knows about the 2042's launch, and also the beta, because how trash the beta was. Like everybody knows how terrible it was. Hey, at least all those bugs and glitches that were in the beta and early game, they aren't as bad as my upload schedule. So why? Why did Battlefield lose its identity? Well, it's kind of obvious. They try being more like Call of Duty, which, why? DICE. The whole reason why we play Battlefield instead of other games like Call of Duty is because we don't want to deal with a bunch of sweats. And also because we love big team battles, and also the mechanics of Battlefield. And also another thing that made Battlefield 2042 not feel like the older games is that they've changed and removed stuff that nobody really asked to be changed, like removing back prone, crouch sprinting, and especially leaning, which leaning was a thing in Battlefield for like a decade now. Why would you remove it? Also, the destruction, there isn't really much destruction in the game. I mean, yeah, in the newer maps the destruction is a lot better, added a lot more destruction, like being able to destroy full buildings, but also in the older maps there's barely any, which really sucks, because that's one of the things that made Battlefield feel really special to other games. Even Call of Duty tried to put in destruction at one point, but they barely did anything, and it didn't really do much since, you know, it's Call of Duty, the smaller maps, and you're not really going to be worrying about like destroying buildings and whatnot, and you're just going to be focused on just running around and people. Hell, look at even the older Battlefields, there's a lot more destruction in those, like Battlefield 4, and one of the maps you can literally take down a whole skyscraper to the ground, which is really cool, but on 2042 just barely any of that. The gunplay in 2042 isn't that good. The weapons feel a lot like Nerf guns. They don't feel like they have any weight to them at all. Unlike earlier Battlefields like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1, which a lot of people really liked how the weapons felt in those games. In 2042, the more futuristic weapons don't feel like they have any weight to them, but the older ones from previous Battlefields that they brought back, that they just copy and pasted into 2042, they feel a lot better. They feel like they have more weight to them than the futuristic ones, which, I mean, yeah, I get it. They're futuristic weapons, so, you know, they're probably gonna not have as much recoil or make as much noise as like the older ones, but like, come on, like make it like louder, like make it like it feels like it has more weight to it instead of feeling like you're just running around with a Nerf gun. This is especially obvious with the LMGs in the game. The LMGs don't feel like LMGs. They just feel like SMGs but with bigger magazines. Hell, sometimes I'll be using LMG and forget I'm even using the LMG until I have to reload it because of the long reload time, which is like the one thing they got about LMGs right. Even with some of the vehicles that have weapons on them, they don't really feel like they, well, do all much. Hell, you can be in a helicopter, be using the minigun on the helicopter, and it doesn't really feel like you're doing that much damage at all. Except for the tanks though. I mean, they're really hard to mess up. Same with the snipers. I mean, they're really hard to mess up. I mean, especially the beefier ones. Like the beefier ones feel really good to use. Another major issue I have with 2042 is how team play isn't really that important to this game. This franchise used to be all about massive team battles, but now the game emphasizes individual play. They added specialists, which is basically Overwatch's heroes, but with zero personality. During the beta, they didn't have the classes, but they ended up bringing them back, thankfully. And the specialists back then also had annoying voice lines, which also, thankfully, they're gone now. And some specialists, some of their abilities, they're useless on some maps, especially with Emma. She has a wingsuit, but some of the maps don't have enough high ground to be able to use her ability, which sucks because she has a really cool ability and it's really fun to use. Another problem I have with Battlefield 2042 with the many problems I already have with it is the weather. Back when they were advertising this game, they were making a big emphasis on the weather, but when the game came out, well, there's only tornadoes and a sandstorm on like one map and that's it. Like having a weather in a game, especially in a big team battle with these big maps like Battlefield, it's really cool and it would have made a really cool mechanic, but they kind of just abandoned it because, well, like I said, there's only really tornadoes. Like there could have been a lot more weather in the game, especially like maps like Stranded, which the whole backstory of that map is that takes place near the Panama Canal, which has lost a lot of its water because of climate change. You could have like, oh, rain coming down, the map floods a little, and it could make vehicles like the hovercraft really useful because, you know, it could flow like on the water and you'll be able to get places faster, which, I mean, I don't know if that's how it works, but like looking at it, I mean, I could see it working. Same with maps like Breakaway. It would have been really cool to have the map to go nighttime and being able to see the northern lights or even a snowstorm, since the map takes place literally in Antarctica. Well, here we are, the end of the script, literally the last thing I have written. Like I said, the script is not fully done. I'm still working on it, and one of the reasons why it took me so long to record this video is because I sound so dead inside every single time I go back and listen to it. Like, I recorded this thing like 30 times, and I sound so dead inside. Like, I'm in a good mood right now, so I'm recording this in a good mood, so hopefully I do not sound dead inside, and I'm really hoping I don't, because I actually really like the script and I think it's pretty decent. Could be better, but I will make it longer. So yeah, here we go. The last thing I have written in the script, that is 2042. It feels generic. But in previous games, you felt like more like a small cog in a big machine, which is, well, your team, obviously. No special abilities. The soldiers had no name to them. It was just you and an army fighting a whole other army. And that's one of the things that made Battlefield so special, because you felt like you were in an actual team, like a big team fighting a whole other big team. You didn't feel like you were just running around like Usain Bolt, feeling like the main character. I heard that the next one was supposed to be taking place in the modern times, which I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, come on, we literally got 2 Modern Warfares back to back, and the new game Delta Force, I think that's what it's called, that also takes place in the modern era, which I want to see something new like the Vietnam era. I don't think we really have that much stuff about the Vietnam War, and I think it would have been really cool to, you know, explore that, you know, see some weapons for the Vietnam War, but like go way more back to like the Civil War. But hey, that's just my opinion, that's my thoughts. If you think about something different, then, you know, leave me in the comments. So yeah, bye.